Number one, we're multiplying 1/10 by 600. If we're multiplying by 1/10, what does that tell us to do with the decimal point? What does that tell us to do with the decimal point? We're multiplying by 1/10.
We multiply the 1 and the 6.
Yeah, but what does that tell us to do with the decimal point? One to what? Right or left?
Right. Yeah.
It's going to get smaller, so it needs to be 1 to the left, making it 6 thousandths. 6 thousandths. Number two, 3 and 5/6. We want it as an improper fraction. Finley, talk to us about that one. Okay, so we have 3 groups of 6, 6, so it's 3 times 6, right? Okay, so we have another group of 5, 6 to that. So it would be 18 plus 5, which is 23, and they are all 6. Okay. And number three. In number 3, we have a rectangular prism, and we are looking for the volume of it. A rectangular prism, and we're looking for the volume of it. Oh, hold on, I'm on 4, sorry. How many faces does it have? How many faces?
6.
6. How can we describe where those faces are?
If you look at it, you can see that at the bottom and the top there.
So we have a top and a bottom.
Yeah, two. You have that side and the side that comes over here, and then the
So front and the back.
And then the side on the left and the
Right and the left. Okay, good.
2 plus 3.
Then number 4, the volume of that solid. Well, the volume is, if we're looking at a 3-dimensional figure, we have a length, we have a width, and we have a height. Okay? So if we're looking at a volume of a figure, we're looking at a layer, finding what fills that first layer, and then we're looking at how many layers we have, so the height. Okay? So we take the length, we multiply it by the width, and we multiply it by the height. So we would start out with the volume equals the length times the width times the height. So you're going to want to write these steps down, because those are the steps that we're going to want to be working with. Volume equals length times width times height. So if we look at this particular rectangular prism, what is its length? What is its length? 9. What is its width? Its width. 2. And what is its height? How tall is it? Maya? 2 inches. So when we multiply 9 by 2 by 2, what would be the volume of this particular rectangular prism?
13.
9 times 2 times 2.
We can multiply those two cubes together, then multiply it by 9.
And we get?
36.
And it would be cubic inches. Okay? Questions on that? Number 5, we have 1/3, and we're adding to it 5/6. What must happen first? What must happen first? All right, what's the common denominator for this one? 6. 1/3 becomes how many 6? 1/3 becomes how many 6?
2 6.
2 6. So we have 2 6 plus
5 6.
5, 6. 2, 6 plus 5, 6 gives us 7, 6. Can I leave it as 7, 6?
No.
No. How do I change it to a mixed number?
You take the 7, make it into a 1, and then you add the blank. Okay. Next you take 6 from 7, and that 6 that you take from the 7 becomes a 1, and then you have the 1 left over, so it's a 1.
Okay, why did you take 6 from the 7?
Because 7 is an improper number.
Yeah, but why did we take 6 from the 7?
Because you can make it. The top number can't be.
Oh, you said top number.
The
The
numerator.
numerator.
The numerator can't be bigger than the denominator.
True, but why did we take the 6 from the 7? I still didn't explain why we took 6 from the 7. Mallory.
If you took 7 from 7, then you wouldn't have any fraction.
But that's not why we take 6 from the 7. Finley. 6, 6 equals 1 whole. 6, 6 equals 1 whole. So we get rid of 6, 6 and change it over to 1 whole. That leaves us with 1 6 left over. So we have 1 whole plus 1 6. That's where that comes from. That's where that comes from. Okay? Number 6. How many of you had false? It is a true statement. It's a true statement. Number 7, greatest common factor of 18 and 24 is 6. Number 8, 1/9 multiplied by 5, 6. 1/9 multiplied by 5, 6. We can do a picture of that. We can have that 1/9 of something. And then shade in 5/6 of it. Right? And then we could do 5, 6, and we could do 6 sections this way. And shade in 5 of them, right? And what fraction of the entire rectangle have we shaded in? How many pieces have we shaded in? 5 out of how many?
54. So 54, not 9.
5 out of 54. Is that in lowest terms? Is that in lowest terms?
Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay. In number 9, what do we need to pay attention to when we are trying to add these together? What do we need to pay attention to? Winding up the decimal point. And what good does that do, lining up the decimal point? What does that do for us? What does that ultimately do for us? Yeah, but what does that do for us, lining up that decimal point? What else does it line up for us? Then just line up the answer. Lines up all of our place values. That's the point of lining up that decimal point, because we want to have all of our place values lined up, because we need to add thousands to thousands and hundreds to hundreds and so on. What's 6 plus 8? 1, 1, and 0. 7 and 0. 5 and 8. 1 and 1. Did you get 23 and 724,000?
Yes.
Okay. And number 10, what's the least common multiple of 4 and 6? 12. 12. Any questions so far? All right. As we take a look at the ones that were up here on the board, we're going to put those on a number line. 3 and 4. Tell me when to stop. Tell me when to stop. Eduardo, tell me when to stop for 3 and 4. Ready? Yeah, it should be right in here. Tell me when to stop for 2 and 3/8. 2 and 3/8. Peyton, 2 and 3/8. Ready? Somewhere in there. 2 and 2/3. 2 and 2/3. Kyler, ready?
Stop.
Yep, somewhere in there. Okay, questions on that? All right. Number 12, you rewrite those using the distributive property. Using the distributive property. Part A, how would we rewrite those using the distributive property? Lane.
5 times 8 plus 5 times 2.
Perfect. Perfect. How about part B? Finley. 6 times the sum of 7 and 3. Perfect. Questions on those? Out of curiosity, how many of you remembered those? Excellent. Excellent.
My other book.
Excellent. Good. Good, good, good. And then, of course, the infamous rectangle method. What goes in here?
50.
What goes in here?
50 times 9.
What goes in here?
7 times 2.
What goes in here?
7 times 9.
What's 50 times 60?
30. 30,000.
What goes in here? What goes in here? What goes in here? When I add these, I get 3,350. When I add these, I get 603. Is that correct? Yep. When I add these together, 3, 5, 3,953.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yes? That makes sense? Okay. Questions? All right, this one would be worse. 13, 14? Yes? 14? Okay. Please get it recorded. Yeah.
So the thing for me to ask you about this one because they don't know about it.
Okay, we're going to be going over that.
Okay.
As we take a look at our assignment next, we're going to rewrite these using the associative and the commutative properties. Our ultimate goal was to get those that had like denominators together. What do we need to do with number 2? Number 2, Finley. All right. change the grouping using the associative property. 8 1/5 plus 4 2/5 gives us,
You get 12 and 3/5.
at this point, we see that our denominators are not the same. Whoa. If you don't have it done, you don't just write everything down. You do that in lunch detention. Huh? You may watch so that you know what to do, but you do it in lunch detention. Huh? Okay. What's the common denominator here? 10. 3/5 becomes how many tenths? And of course, you would have done that off to the side, right? Okay.
I didn't know that.
And 12 and 6/10 plus 3 and 3/10 is 9/10 in lowest terms.
Yes.
So we, of course, would circle that. Okay.
Got it.
Questions on that?
Mm-mm.
Okay. Number 3, you would want to use the commutative property first, switching the order of 2 3/8 and 1 3/4. You would then want to regroup and get 2 3/8 and 5 7/8 together using the associative property. Your final answer should be 10.
I got 10 and
Okay. Number 4, you would want to use the commutative property first, switching the order of 1 2/7 and 4 9/10. Then you would want to group 2 1/10 and 4 9/10 together using the associative property. Your final answer would be 8 2/7. Does anyone want to see those steps? Most of you who worked the steps were pretty spot on with them. I wrote this one out so you can see the steps again, but I'll be glad to write more out if you want me to. Anybody want more steps right now?
I was going to say, so when I was doing it last night, all I did was make a little mistake on it.
Okay, make corrections.
I did.
Okay, that's fine. If you did them, you'd be making corrections. If you didn't do them, you're not just be writing down the problem. Okay. Number 5, all you needed to use was the associative property, putting the parentheses around 3 1/4 plus 3 1/4. And then adding the 5 1/5. Your common denominator would have been 20. Your final answer was 11 7/10 when you put it in lowest terms. And number 6, you want to change the order of 3 2/3 and 5 3/4, so that's the commutative property. You want to group then 1 1/4 and 5 3/4, that's the associative property. And then you should see that 1/4 and 3/4 makes a whole, right? Okay, that would have made things easier. Your final answer being 10 2/3. 10 2/3. Questions on that one? Question? And number 7. Depending on how you started the problem, if you did 6 1/2 plus 2 2/5 plus 2 1/2, okay, you would have used the commutative property to change the order of 2 2/5 and 2 1/2, or 6 1/2 and 2 2/5, whichever one you switched. And then you want to group together 6 1/2 and 2 1/2. You end up with 11 2/5 miles. Make sure you label it miles. Number 8, 2 3/8 plus 1 1/4 plus 2 7/8. Again, you want to change the order using the commutative property. You want to get that 1 1/4 either first or last, whichever way you went with that. You want to group the 2 3/8 and the 2 7/8 together. You end up with a final answer of 6 1/2 pounds by the time you reduce it, and you want to make sure that you label it. Okay, questions on that? Yes, Ezra.
I can't do Because isn't it pretty tricky on how strong because sometimes I actually 6 and 3 8.
7/8 and 3/8 gives you 11/8, right?
Yeah.
Do you need to work that one? Huh? Okay. Did 2 and 3/8 and 2 and 7/8. And then you added 2 at 1 1/4. This gives us 4 and 11/8, right? Plus 1 1/4. Okay, this here would give us 5 and 3/8. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
Would you agree with that, Ezra? Do I need to show you more work to get there?
No, I just like no problem. I just like to find out about it.
So you understand what you did wrong?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Okay. All right. So on the next page, 412, your common denominator would have been 6. You should end up with 12 and 5 6. 12 and 5 6. Number, well, actually, you would have done that. 1/3 and 2/3 is a whole, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would save you a whole lot of work. Okay. Number 2, add your 6 together, and then your common denominator is 12. You get 17 and 7/12 yards. Okay. Number 3. For that one, it was 3 times 47, and she rewrote it as 3 times 40 plus 3 times 7. 3 times 40 plus 3 times 7. So in that one, what happened to this 47? What happened to it?
It got like separated. They like made into a.
Into 40 plus 7, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what property was used?
Distributed.
The distributive. Okay. All right. And number 4, you were to evaluate that expression. What would you have done first? What would you have done first? Yep. So the next step should have looked like this.
I didn't do that. I did it.
What would you have done next? Abby? Leaving us with 4. And those are the steps you should have shown.
I did it a different way. I did.
Okay, these are the steps you should have shown.
Because I did
Okay,
four
these are the steps you should have shown.
I did a different way, but got the same answer.
Yeah, but doing it wrong and accidentally getting it is not what we're after, okay? That make sense? These are the steps you need to show, because you can accidentally get there another way.
I got the 18 minus 14 part. That's that part.
Okay, but you have to do that first. Okay?
Yeah, the 2.7.
Number 5. How do you figure out how much the birdseed costs per pound? How do you figure that out? Eduardo, divide, and what did you get? 227 pounds? $227?
$2.27.
And that too, huh? $2.27? Uh-huh. I was wondering when you'd get around to that. When you're working the counter at a store, you're going to go 2 and 27 pounds. That'll be the cost. Okay.
That's
All right.
That's the page.
And number 6. How far did you ride in 2 days? What did you do to figure that one out? Ava? I think you're Ava, aren't you? Yeah. What did you?
I got
But what did you do to figure that one out? What did you do? Did you add, subtract, multiply, or divide? Added. And what did you get for your final answer, ma'am? 3 and 7/10? 3 and 7/20?
Yeah.
And what was your label? Miles. Miles. Questions? Questions? All right.
Oh, I have some too.
I want to review how to subtract with mixed numbers when you have to borrow. When you have to borrow. Just to make sure that we're all on board with that. So get out a piece of paper, please. Because if you can do this, you can do any kind of adding and subtracting with fractions and mixed numbers. Does that make sense? Like this is like the hardest one. Okay? So this like combines everything. Okay? So we look at 18 and a third minus 3 and 3/4. What should you look for first? What should you look for first, Piper? Yeah. And what is our common denominator with 4 and 3, Piper? 12. And if you don't know it's 12, what should you do? List your multiples of 3 and 4 until you find that common denominator. Okay? But our common denominator is 12, so we're looking for 12 here. And how do I find 1/3 is how many 12s? How do I find that? Zach, you need to be with us taking notes. Then get out, and when you're ready, come back in. And it better be soon.
So you have to multiply 4, you have to multiply 3 times 4 to get 12, and then you multiply 1 by 4 to get the 12.
So our new mixed number is 18 and 4 12s. 3 and 3/4. What do we do with that one? What do we do with that one? And so our new mixed number is 3 and 9/12. 3 and 9/12. All right? So what do we do next? What do we do next? Next. Audra. We subtract. And do we do 9 minus 4 is 5?
No.
No, absolutely not. Taylor, what do we do?
You have to take away 1 from 18 to make a 17 and make 12 out of that. 12 plus 4 plus and then add that, and then that will be able to convert 17 to 3.
17 and 4/12?
Oh, 13 and 16.
There we go. There we go. All right. Thank you. And what are we subtracting from that? Lane.
3 and 9/12.
Okay, go ahead and do that subtraction and make sure your answer is in lowest terms.
12.
Lane, what'd you get?
I got 14 and 1/2.
Because when you subtracted here, what did you get?
I got 14 and 6/12, and then I divided it by 2 to get 6.
Lane, people are looking at you, which tells me they're not agreeing with your 6/12. So let's look at that subtraction again. Look at that subtraction again. Ezra, what did you get when you subtracted?
I got 14 times 7 is 12.
7/12, people are agreeing with the 7/12.
Yep.
All right? Is 7/12 in lowest terms? Yes, so we would circle that and call it a day. Okay?
Good day.
Any questions you have on that? All right, so we look for common denominators, we look for borrowing, if and only if we need to, okay? And then we look for reducing at the end, right? All right. For tomorrow, let's take a look at page 419 in our book, please. $419 and 420. I think those 2 pages will take you, maybe 6 minutes to do. And then I have 6 review questions on here that might take you 10 minutes to do. You're laughing at me, girl. And then your Friday work is due. Okay? So, that's what's due tomorrow. Page 19 and 20 and these 6 review questions. And your Friday work. Most of you have a good jump on your Friday work. Okay? I'm going to be meeting with a few people at the back table, so I will not have time to do, can you check my Friday work? Until I'm done meeting with my small group. Does that make sense? Okay? We're not doing 20. Yeah, I'm telling you, it seems safety.
It's not taking long, but it doesn't seem like the right thing.
I know. I'm telling you, I'm not going to introduce it. I'm going to see what you can do with it because 419 and 20. I said it. Yep. 419 and 20. I'm not thinking it's going to be stretching your brain too much. Is my hope. I want to see what it does to that brain. Don't tell me what I need to do. You're on work right now. You're on work. I'm Mrs. Allen. She's probably Mrs. Kaufman. Oh. What? Equal. Fraction is equal. Equivalent fraction is equal. A fraction is equal to it.
Maya, Abby, and Jonathan, please bring a pencil down. Okay, Wayne, bring your own pencil.
What? You're not. You're on the sidewalk. No, you won't. Jonathan, I promise you not. So don't lie to me. That helpful thing will be provided. It's time. We have to have it for me, right? Make sure it's in the box. In the box, in the box, in the box. Have a good day. I will see you later today. Bye.
Why do you have Legos in it?
That's my brother.
What do you
Right now, work. Okay, guys,
Like one tiny thing,
let's go.
but I fixed it. Okay. Yeah.
That's good. You have something to be great on it? Then put it in. Well, you can get it out of there if I don't have it right and that's in your lap. I hope. I'm here.
Tyler, you said you wanted to be here Wednesday. Tyler, you said you wanted to be here Wednesday. You said you weren't gonna be here Wednesday.
Yesterday, yeah. Apparently the doctor's appointment got canceled.
My dentist appointment got canceled till like March or something. Because I have to do a mouthwash and I take those things. Because that stuff goes down your mouth. Like that bubble gum stuff.
I like that.
I know how the bubble gum stuff goes down your mouth and it tastes so gross.
All right, guys, get your stuff cleaned up. Let's go. Come on, let's just go Please, away, come on.
You can't put everything in your bag?
Not everything.
From you?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You don't need to take it home?
I know, I'm seeing it. Okay, good. Look out, me. It's a young lady.
Okay, guys, you're supposed to be working on your math minute. And notice there are 3 more problems up here on the board. You have to do on paper. You guys have the assignment?
Yeah.
All right, make sure your assignment's in the corner of your desk.
Actually, it was due yesterday, but she didn't turn it on.
Okay, and put that up there in your folder.
Okay, haven't you noticed?
So you lost your assignment? And what color? A green one? Hey, if anybody finds a little green hand sanitizer, yeah, well, they said that that was Carson. So if you see another one, okay? Right here, look for that.
Okay.
Make sure he gets it. We're just talking about the one you want to Give it to Carl. Math minute 74 and on the board. We need to get busy instead of just sitting there.
Yes, we did. Oh, we did. Hello, I'm talking to you. Well, ignore me, I guess. Thank you. Yes or no? Why not? Yes or no? It's how it's like you use it to work now. For sure. Where's your whip? Huh? Forwarding. Like, that's the property. Okay? You guys pull where I didn't get to? Hey, Eli, why don't you try doing the problems? I just scribbled on the page. Okay, so no study time. Give me the exam, so come over to math notes, okay? take a look at our answers to the math note, please? Number one, we have 600, and we're multiplying by 1/10. What happens to the decimal point when we're multiplying by 1/10? What happens to it?
I think it was still right.
It does not move to the right. If it moved to the right, the number would get larger. How many places? One to the left, making it 6,000. 6,000. Number two, we have 3 and 5/6, and we're trying to make it an improper fraction. How do we make it an improper fraction?
Let's do 3 and 36.
No, no. Charles?
Let's swap the 5 and 6 in place.
No. 3 and 5/6. No. Okay. So we have 3 times we have 6, 6. Does everybody understand that? So 3, 6 times, right? Or 6, 3 times. Sorry, 6, 3 times. 6, 3 times.